Private First Class Ernest Allen Tanksley was a survivor. That might sound strange considering we are standing in a cemetery, but in many ways Private Tanksley was the definition of a survivor. Private Tanksley's life was never easy. It was always a struggle for survival. He was born on May 5th, 1920 in Chatsworth, Georgia. His father, Alan Tanksley, passed away when he was only 5 years old from typhoid fever. His death left Ernest's mother, Ora, alone to raise 4 sons and a daughter. Before Tanksley was 10 years old, his mother took her 5 children across the country to central Texas. During the Great Depression, the Tanksleys survived by farming cotton and growing a lot of their own food. He left school after 6th grade to provide for his mother and siblings, and eventually got a job pouring cement for the National Youth Administration. By the time Private Tanksley was 24, he had survived more than most people can imagine. He was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Southerner who loved to laugh. As a kid, his friends all came up with nicknames for each other, and Ernest was given the nickname Buck. For whatever reason, the nickname stuck. Even his family called him Buck. Buck enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1942, but his first real action would be the Normandy campaign. In 1944, he sailed to Europe for Operation Overlord as a member of the 357th Infantry Regiment of the 90th Infantry Division. His division was in reserves for the attack on Utah Beach, arriving on June 8th, but they were instrumental in the U.S. Army's push into central France. About a month after D-Day, Private Tanksley was moved into the front, into the heavy artillery gun. The pressure from the enemy was immense. According to one of his fellow soldiers, the day before his death, he was transporting ammunition to the front line. His final words to the soldier as he drove off to battle were, "It's hot as hell up in the front." That was the last time anyone heard from him. During a fierce battle outside a small village called Bokudrai, Private Tanksley was shot in the chest. He died on July 5th, 1944, one day before his infant daughter's first birthday. Private Tanksley's memory survived beyond his death, with his wife, Bertie May, and his daughter, Mary Jane Tanksley, along with his siblings and their families. He has 4 grandchildren, 6 great-grandchildren, and a step-grandchild. His death had a great impact on his family, especially Bertie, who would wait by the door for years after his death, expecting him to walk through and come home. Over time, Bertie May learned to live with her loss and moved to Oregon with her daughter. However, she never forgot about Ernest. It was important for her to tell her family that they had someone in the family who was a hero, who sacrificed his life protecting them. We should all follow Bertie's example, and not only remember the fallen, but also preserve and spread their stories. I am truly thankful for Private Tanksley's sacrifice, and I know that his sacrifice allows me to be free. We all have a responsibility to make sure that the legacy of all these silent heroes survives long into the future. Their sacrifice ensured that freedom and democracy survived its greatest threat. The shot that ended Private Tanksley's life may have done its intended job at the time, but we cannot let that bullet silence him. He was taken too soon, but that does not mean his legacy should die as well. Private Tanksley's story will not end with his death because his memory continues to survive. Private Tanksley sacrificed everything for his country, and my biggest wish is for him to know that we did not take that fact for granted. For these many reasons, Private First Class Ernest Allen Tanksley is a survivor.